Today I'm going to be talking about the different ways on how you can create magic in your life. And the book that I'm going to be referring to is The Richest Bible Complete. This is by Janet and Stuart Farrar, and this is the Magical Child's version of this book. I highly recommend you guys going out and getting this book if you don't have it already. It's one of the first books that I used when I first got involved in the craft. And it's actually two books in one. The first part of the book is 8 Sabbaths for Witches and The Witch's Way. They were originally published as two different books, but when it came out at the Magical Child, they published it as one big book. So if you don't have it, I highly recommend you guys going out and get it. And if I sound a little funny, if I sniffle a little bit during this video, I apologize. I know it's not the most professional thing to do, but I felt like making a video today, and I don't want to lose this opportunity to make a video for you guys. So sorry about the little sniffles or whatever that you see in this video. Okay, the first part of this book is, or actually the first part of the ways of making magic that's in this book is meditation and concentration. Very important thing for the magician to learn. It's very important to learn how to meditate, to be able to sit in one place, in one posture, and just to have your mind focused on one thing and to meditate on that. Sounds easy, but it's actually harder than what you think. To be able to hold one thought in your mind at a time, to block out the outside world or whatever is happening in the outside world. Sounds easy, but it's not necessarily a easy thing for a lot of us to do. And the reason why is because we live busy lives. A lot of us work 40 hours a week. Some of us are in school. Some of us are raising kids. And there's always this background noise that's happening. So to be able to tune that out for, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, half hour a day, if you're lucky you can get an hour a day of doing this. It's a very powerful thing. It opens you up to different frames of reference. It opens you up more to spirit. I cannot stress how important this is. So if you're not doing this already, I would highly recommend you guys practicing this and using it in your daily practice. Meditation and concentration. Concentration is, as I said, very important too. One of the things that I've done in the past, if I've taken a tarot card, say like the magician, take that tarot card, stare at it, and then see that picture in your mind. See if you can recreate all the symbology that's associated with that tarot card in your mind. Sounds easy, but it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. So that's one of the things that you can use to bring magic into your life and to bring a magical practice into your life, because once you practice this, things will be able to manifest for you in the real world a lot easier. So those are two things that I recommend. And that's number one. Number two that's in this book is chants, spells, invocations, evocations of the god and goddess, etc. Chants are very easy. There's a lot of books on chants. This book has chants in it. If you look in the background over there, kind of hard to point in the right direction with this webcam going, but if you look at my bookshelf that's up above over here, you'll see that I have a lot of books on witchcraft and the occult, and a lot of them have chants in them. And those of you who are watching this video, those of you who practice the craft already, probably have a lot of books with chants in them. So there's really no excuse to not use chants in your daily practice, or when you're casting the circle, or when you're calling on the god and the goddess, or you're doing, even when you're doing meditation practice, use chants. It's a way of focusing your mind on something. Okay, so chants, spells, of course, one of the first things you learn in being a witch or practicing magic is how to do spells. A good spell is what I use is I take a little pouch like this, a little red pouch, and I put different herbs in it, different crystals or stones, and there's a lot of little things that I think that would help me in creating whatever change that I need in my life at a particular moment. Put it in this pouch, and if there's especially if there's a quartz crystal in it, I take it and I hold it to my third eye, and I put my intention into it, and then I'll say a prayer to it, and then I would place it over my heart chakra, and I would wear it. And the reason why I do this, and I said this in some of my other videos, is you want your heart's intention to go out into the universe. So if you have a crystal that's already programmed, along with the different herbs, along with the parchment that states what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life, and you go out into the world and you make an effort to make change in your life and to influence the things that are around you, you'll be surprised at the accuracy on how this thing works. So that's just one of the many ways that you can do a spell to promote the things that you want in your life. Invocations, of course, that's one of the first things, at least that I learned when I first got involved in the craft, and that's just basically invoking or evoking the god and goddess. And it doesn't matter if it's in a circle or if you just want to talk to them or whatever. Very important, and one of the first things you learn in the craft. Okay. Number 3 here is projection of the astral body and trance. Now there's different ways to you do astral projection. One of the things I found that really works is if I don't get a lot of sleep during the day, and if I get too much sleep during the day, and if I try to go to sleep at night, my body somehow rejects that. Like part of me will go to sleep, but part of me won't. And I found that that's a great opportunity for me to astral project because I do it naturally. Now, I don't know if that works for everyone. I never read that in any book or whatever. That's just something that works for me. So if that works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, it might not be the way for you to astral project. But that's the way I astral project. Get too much sleep, try to sleep at night, part of you goes to sleep, but part of you is still awake, so you're sort of in this in-between state, and you're naturally astral project. So that's what happens to me. There's different ways on how to astral project. There's a lot of books out there on astral projection. So one of the first things I learned when I got involved in the craft, when I got involved in Magick, so look it up. If it's something that you're interested in, I recommend you get a book on it and practice it. Trance, of course, is also important. I know a lot of ladies who are really into trance dancing. When they dance, they get themselves worked up, and they kind of go off into a trance state. Those of you who practice Santeria or Voodoo know a lot about this. You know, you get yourself going when the drums are going, and you get yourself in the trance state, and that's where the spirits of the Loa will come and take possession of you. So that's very important if you want to make that direct connection to the god or the goddess or the Loa or whatever that you want to be a part of. So if that's something that you would want to do, which I think most of us would want to do, definitely look into doing something along those lines. Okay. Number 4, they have here incense, drugs, wine, etc. Now, me personally, I don't use drugs. I don't use psychedelics. I don't use mind-altering things as far as magic goes. I am a drinker. I like having a good drink, but like having a good drink at a bar, not necessarily when I'm doing a ritual or anything like that. I mean, if that's your thing, more power to you. I'm a musician, and I just seen drugs in a negative way. It's basically it's taken a lot away from a lot of great musicians that I like, and I don't see how drugs have improved their lives any. I mean, what a lot of times what I hear is when they first started to take drugs, all this opens up to them or whatever. They get inspired or whatever, but the long time effect of it is not good. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use peyote or things of that nature in your ritual work. I mean, if that's something that you do. Me personally, I just don't use drugs. Incense can be used in doing rituals. One of the things that I do is burn a lot of incense doing rituals. You can see visions or images in the incense, so that's something that I would recommend you doing in your magic. And it has here any potion that aids to the release of the spirit, so that's up to you. Like I said, me personally, I like to do things naturally. I like to use meditation to go into altered states of consciousness rather than using a drug, because to me it's like a handicap. So I know that some of you guys will disagree with me. I mean, that's cool. That's just me. That's just Merlin's opinion, okay? Okay. Number 5, I pretty much talked about this a little bit already, and that's dancing. And dancing sort of gets you into the trance state. They have here the use of chords. I don't use chords as far as releasing the spirit myself. I've heard that there are people that do use chords and doing these type of things. That's something that I don't personally use. I do not magic, so that's something a little bit different than using magic for chords as far as blood control or using it to release magic. So that's something that I don't necessarily use. Also, the scourge. If you use the ritual scourge, you can bring yourself into altered states of consciousness. Me personally, I don't use that. Like I said, I would rather use meditation or chants or things of that nature when I do my magic. And number 8 here, they have the Great Rite. Now, the Great Rite, those of you who practice standard witchcraft, as is mostly presented here in America, know that the Great Rite, for the most part, is done symbolically in a ritual circle. But between consenting adults, when you're alone, you can also practice the Great Rite literally. You can do it literally with your partner. So it can be done both ways, and I have done it both ways. So those of you who attended Full Moon Circle know that we did it the standard way, the symbolic way, and those of you who were my partners at some point of my life know that we've done it literally. So, and both can be a lot more fun, a lot funner, I guess. Okay. There's a little bit more, but I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to do this in a part 2. So, until part 2, peace and love is the law.